Season 2 of MLB The Show 24 has been out for about a week, and I gotta say, I love seeing the different lineups being used. And that means it's time for the ultimate Season 2 tier list of MLB 24, ranking basically every card in the game. So leave a like down below if you guys do enjoy, subscribe to the channel, and in the comment section below, let me know some of your favorite cards, core or set 2, that you've got a chance to use so far. Let's get into it. Now remember, for most modes, Season 1 cards are basically redundant, so we're not going to include them. Wild card, whoever you want. That's for a different video, but here we go. There's not many catchers. I'm going to grade this Yasmani Grandal from the XP reward path as the top guy for now. Of course, most people aren't even close, and if you are, the shower might be more important than this video. Anyway, the next guy's up. We've got Adley Rutschman, and do remember, Live Series cards have so much value right now because they get that inside edge boost and they have the opportunity to get supercharged. I'm not going to include current supercharge just because they're going to leave in a few days. And this video is going to be kind of weird if you see like a bronze card at S tier. But of course, supercharge are going to make a big factor in you choosing your team. And also your captains. You know, I'm not including guys with their cornerstone captain boost because you might not use that one, but I somewhat factored in how many captains they actually fit because that is a big advantage to them as well. But Dihigo, this Mike Piazza, I know a lot of people like him. Obviously, you know, like Adley, he's at A tier. Then you go down to B tier, you've got guys like Francisco Alvarez and Joey Bart from Team Affinity. Couple more live series that, if they get a favorable inside edge boost, are going to be pretty damn good. But for the most part, for catchers, like you've probably got that Adley, or he's not too difficult to afford. And of course, there's going to be more coming, but that's how I'd rank out catchers right now. I know a lot of you fuckers are using Posada, so, or the 99 Adley. All right, let's move on to first base, where I think there's a hell of a lot more parity because there's a lot more cards. So into C tier, we've got guys that are, they can hit, you know, for the most part. They're okay. There's certainly better options out there. First base is a position you really care about hitting first. You know, speed, it's nice to have, especially when you're hitting. And fielding, too. I think the only time fielding rating really matters for first baseman is whether or not they scoop a throw in the dirt. You know, if you hit a yellow throw on the accuracy meter, I feel like a bad defending first baseman typically doesn't scoop it. But hell, I think sometimes even like the good defenders don't do it either. I feel like a yellow throw is a guaranteed error, and then a red one's just going to go behind you. That's pretty much how the game works. And then B tier gets more competitive. You see some of Lowe's Team Affinity guys like this Dylan Carlson, who I think is pretty damn good. You've got switch hitters in here, of course, which is going to up their value. But overall, I think you can do better, especially when you look at A tier. You've got guys like Adam Dunn that people have probably had for a long time. I swear, him and Adalberto Mondesi are probably my two toughest outs in the entire game. You see, live series again, Harper, Freeman, and Gunnar Henderson, they're up pretty much every day they play, and they just are so good. They're such tough outs. Like this Nick Castellanos, really underrated, I think, in this Yandy Diaz as well, especially if you threw a Rafi Devers captain. He gets to be really damn good. We'll move up to S tier. You know, honestly, I feel like I could put Big Mac down to A tier. I'm not a big fan of that card. You've got Yasmani, you've got Babe Ruth, who of course you knew he was going to be there. But overall, again, I think first base is a stacked position, and it's very easy to field, you know, to get somebody at A tier. 2B, but a lot of the best second basemen aren't free. You've got the ones that are, you know, some of the lesser ones. They're not incredible. You know, C tier, just a couple guys here. You're probably not going to use them, maybe on a theme team or something. But realistically, we get to B tier where you might see some cards that you're thinking about. This is Joe Morgan right here, the collection card at 60, Season 2 cards. I'm just not too fond of him, although I do get a kick out of him just, you know, fucking wagging his elbow all the time. You know, it's kind of distracting in a way. use strike zone, and then it won't be such a big deal. But you've got some fun cards here for sure, but I do think, you get up to that upper echelon at second base with these A-tier cards. This Adalberto Mondesi, I already spoke for him. He's incredible. Chris Morel, really good card, and he's starting to go down in price. He's still like $80K, which is on the more expensive end of things. But again, you see a couple live series in Ketel Marte, Gunnar Henderson, this Nolan Gorman. He's expensive, but really good. Tim Raines, pick him up. I grabbed him for $12K today. Awesome card, ton of contact and speed, and I think he fits the Corbin Carroll boost, which is interesting. Tommy Edman, another great swap squad guy. Live series Trey Turner, you get him to like maxed out contact with that Luis Castillo boost, and then you get up to the big boys. A lot of live series here because they're just that good. I mean, Seager, JRM, and Mookie, and this is without the implications of Luis Castillo if you get that boost on him. They're just that good, because they've got such good quirks, they've got great swings, and their attributes, especially with the inside edge buff, just get so high. And then 92 Trey Turner as well. So certainly some expensive guys. These are not ranked in order on the line they're on, by the way. They're just grouped, so don't pay any mind to me thinking that Seager's better than Betts or Trey, although if you use the card, you certainly feel that sometimes, but that's second base. On to third base, the hot corner. This is one of the positions where I do value defense a bit more, and I think you'll notice that as we go on. So a guy like Oneil Cruz, who can only hit one side, and he's got like 43 fielding. He's got max arm, so he might bobble it 3 times, but he still might throw the runner out. So he's there. A couple, tops now cards. You kind of know what to expect from that tier. At B tier, you get some decent cards. This Tristan Casas, honestly, really good hitter. I like that one. Miguel Andujar as well. Don't sleep on him. I know it's a paid card. It's always going to be less likely for you to use those, but maybe you pull him in one of those packs in the program, which there's no sell, so what the fuck else are you going to do with them? Big Mac, Mark McGwire. I mean, playing a spot like third base, just not recommended for the big man there. Move up to the A tier where we see a lot of cards. This is going to be that first Chipper Jones in the XP reward path. I got to say, I've used him quite a bit. I like the card. He just doesn't have any pop versus, I believe, righty. I could be wrong, but one side he doesn't have that much power. But otherwise, again, you see a lot of familiar faces, so you've seen at other positions here. I do want to give a shout out to like the Beltre. You'll see some of these 90 overall core hyper series. I don't know if those cards are ever going to go down in price. It's annoying how expensive they are because they're really not that good. There's guys that are free here. Would rather pay 50, 60K or nothing, for one of these cards. Really tough choice there. But we'll move up to S tier, and then we've got this 95 Chipper Jones, who this card is really a step above the 91 considerably. And then once again, Corey Seager, Jose Ramirez, and Trey Turner as well, filling out the field at S tier. Moving on to shortstop, again, a position even more so I factor in defensive ratings. So you see the familiar C-tier guy. I feel bad shitting on him, but it's just where they fall. So at shortstop, someone like J.P. Crawford is going to get a bit of a buff in his rankings for me because defense matters more. In the same way, Corey Seager is not going to be as good of a shortstop because truly, shortstop and outfield, defensive ratings matter considerably. You're really going to notice someone who's not good there, and we're going to talk about that a lot once we get to the OF. Move on up to the A tier, and you see that Mondi, I really think highly of that card. Whatever his ratings are, they don't matter. They're far higher. And you see a couple new guys here for sure. You've got Derek Jeter, the captain of captains, who we're not ranking him based on the captain boost, but it's honestly pretty damn good right now, and especially it will be later on if they release more seasonal captains. You've got Tatis, the 89 overall, which this card only can play shortstop. Vinny Casilla, this card from Battle Royale, not bad. A decent little option there who becomes insane on the Rafael Devers boost. And then we'll move up to S tier. Once again, it's the same guys. It's Jose Ramirez, it's Mookie Betts, and it's Trey Turner. You're going to see him a lot going forward. And I think it really does speak to, you see how all these live series cards, how high they're being ranked. It's very valuable. There's not a lot of great collection cards for live series, and they'll especially be outpaced pretty soon if they are. But live series with the Inside Edge boost, and if you do Castillo, they could honestly last you until the third chapter of any given season. Let's do it. Let's hit the outfield. It's a big position. I do rank this as a lump sum. All corner and center fielders each are going to be in the same pool, but I will be ranking higher based on, defensive ratings. And some guys, simply put, will not be on here because I don't think they're playable in the outfield because they're too slow and they're just dog shit in the field. But you see C tier, again, probably not a ton of guys that you're going to be using too much anyway. Theme team cards. And thankfully, by now, I think some of those core 87 captains people are getting. They've released enough of those to where, if you haven't opened that pack, you can kind of get some gauges on who are better than others. B tier, you've got some okay cards for sure. At B tier, you've got some all right options. This Aaron Judge, the free one, is actually not bad. I really don't mind that card at all. Also, his teammate Clint Frazier, although it says Jackson to the game, and he goes in real life back to Clint Frazier. So who's wrong, the game or him? Honestly, I think he's just, rolls a dice every day and, Jackson today. Changes his name on his Twitter bio. It's weird. Figure it out. Clint. Good God. This Harper, you might have noticed him earlier. I do think Live Series Harper's better. It really blows my mind that they even released this card. Dylan Carlson, of course, is a big one that people have enjoyed. The Freight Train, David Peralta, speaking of these 87 core captains, really, really good one. You've got the Stan Musial. If you want just a masher contact who's going to have the biggest PCI of the game, Stan Musial is your guy. It's enormous. Good God. A Lizzo size, damn near. Move up to A tier. You've got some really good hitters like Juan Soto and Kyle Tucker and Shohei Ohtani. They're just not good enough defensively for me to rank them higher than this. You've got guys like Bernie Williams or Brandon Nimmo. They're not as good of a hitter, but they're more of a complete package. So it depends what you want to do. And again, I can't stress enough, choose your stadium you play at. Obviously, away games you can't pick, but keep in mind where you play when you're factoring in your outfield. You can afford to have someone like Juan Soto in left field if you play at a smaller ballpark. If you're playing at Laughing Mountain or something, 420 to center field with big gaps, you're going to get cooked using someone slow and inferior like Mr. Juan Soto. But maybe he'll hit enough bombs it won't even matter. Go up to S tier. Here's how I rank it. Trout is still at S tier, at least for now, of course. Once we get later on into Chapter 1 and even further into Season 2, these will change, of course. Guys like Babe are going to remain at S tier, but, someone like Trout is going to fall down the rankings. Of course, he also does not get inside edge, but he does fit some interesting boost, and he's got an incredible swing. This 95 Griffey is really good. I like the 91 Griffey. I think the 91 Griffey is certainly better than the 91 Chipper Jones. Well, once again, like Chipper, that 95 is just an upper echelon, a tier above, and you'll really notice that once you get further in the XP path, and then you see Mookie and Trey. Once again, but I do want to give a shout out to these guys in particular. Really, I would not recommend using these guys in the outfield just because they're not good enough. I mean, Shohei's reaction is abhorrent. I mean, good God. You'll be stumbling around like he came off Willie Nelson's tour bus and then finally make a jump. I mean, if you watch this game play out, it's incredible. If you have low ratings, you'd think they never played baseball before. You could be a center fielder, and the ball could be hit to your right side, and if your ratings are low enough, they're going to start running to the left. I mean, is that bad reaction or is that bad eyesight? Good God, I didn't know Helen Keller was in Diamond Dynasty. But, you've got some great hitters here. Utilize the DH spot, like Marcell Ozuna, incredible hitter, especially with the Castillo boost. He's just not playable in the outfield, same as Jordan. Lobby the Astros to have him play some first base. I don't know, but he's not good enough to use defensively. Let's get controversial. Let's move on to the arms here. The starting rotation. I don't think it's particularly great, but I also think pitching's terrible this year with the foul balls and with pinpoint and the umpires not calling strikes. It's tough out here. You know, every game pretty much ends up in the triple digits. But you've got C tier. I probably wouldn't recommend using any of these guys. Again, there's some higher overalls like Blake Snell or Christian Javier. I just don't think their pitch mix is good enough. Again, it's unfortunate, and I really wish this could change because the gameplay's felt the same for the past 5 years. But if you don't have a sinker or a cutter, it's really tough to use those guys competitively online. And then you look at things like velocity. Of course, that helps a lot. You know, it's a lot tougher to hit 104 than it is to hit 84 on a fastball. And then also control of the strike zone. That's a huge thing as well with being an Angel Hernandez simulator. We miss you, our GOAT. Now we have to deal with CB Buckner, who arguably is worse than Angel Hernandez, but I digress. B tier, you see some interesting faces like this Cliff Lee if you want to use him. He's cheap. He's free if you do the Mariners collection. You've got Garrett Cole, who's decent. You know, give him a shot. He's okay. But you'll notice a couple interesting ones like Thor. I kind of like him. Satchel Paige. This card is a bit cheaper, a lot cheaper than a guy like Johan Santana, the Hyper Series. A tier, I think, is where you get the guys you'll see a lot online. Tarek Skubal, you see him like every other game right now because he's cheap. And, you know, he gets the Live Series Castillo boost, which is very popular. This 91 Halladay, I like him a lot more than I thought I would. I've really enjoyed him. Nolan Ryan, he just bends me over backwards every time I face him. He just kills me. Chris Sale, I've had some luck with him. Some people hit Sale well. Some people can't see him at all. I don't think Babe Ruth is that tough to hit personally. And, you know, am I being a little facetious saying Forrest Whitley's a better pitcher? Yes, but I think I just kind of want to emphasize how good that Forrest Whitley can be. I mean, he was giving me real fits offline and then online, dude. Guy's a stud. So try out him. He's one of the best cards from Team Affinity. The 95 Halladay I haven't used yet, of course, but I'm really excited. He's just way better than 91, who I've had weird success with. And then Ohtani. I really think that 94 Live Series Shohei Ohtani is one of the best pitchers in the game. It's tough. You know, it's kind of hard to gauge pitcher sometimes because is it a good pitcher or are you playing someone that's not good at the game? It's tough to say, but that's how I'd rank the starters right now. We'll move on to the bullpen. Here's right-handed relievers. There's not a ton, and, you know, I'm not going to list out like every 70 overall. Obviously, you start to get a team boost or Luis Castillo. Some of these Live Series are going to get better, but generally speaking, Lee Smith, this card's going to be really good. I've enjoyed using him thus far. Mariano Rivera, of course, in ranked seasons. At A tier, Orion Kirkering, if you did get a chance or have not yet finished that program, pick Orion if you get the low round. He's really good. Joe Kelly's got a glitched release, which you see him a ton online right now, both because people are picking that for the Dodgers theme team, and he's just a good arm out of the bullpen. Devin Williams, I can't stress enough how tough he is to hit for some people. I've got a sub-2 ERA, about 15 innings in on him right now. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's pretty damn good, especially in MLB 24's landscape. Then a couple guys in B tier. I think bullpen's very easy to get good options for cheap. It's just like the best of the best typically are going to cost you a little bit. So then we'll go on to the lefty relievers, and I'm going to put Strom and Tayrod as my two top guys. I'm not a fan of this Aroldis Chapman. I sincerely don't think this guy could toss a thumbtack in the Pacific fucking Ocean. My God, is he hard to pitch with. And if you do, by some miracle act of God, get a pitch in the strike zone, don't injure your neck there, Aroldis. You know, practice your smile, because you could be the next Joker. Just grinning while that ball's getting sent 450 feet. I really don't like that card at all if you can't catch my drift. But Strom, that card is expensive, but he's really good. I do enjoy Colombi. Mr. Columbus, the lefty for the Orioles, I think he's good. Tanner Scott or the Live Series Strom as well. Some decent options for your Live Series cards. So that's what I think. That's how I rank out Season 2 so far, just a week in. We're going to get more cards. Things are going to change. We'll probably have an update to this tier list at some point, probably within Chapter 2. But like I said, let me know what cards you guys are really enjoying so far. I know Live Series, Supercharged Live Series is really kind of snuck in, and you'll see a ton of those right now because, you know, they're supercharged up to, I believe, 91s or so. Whereas, you know, most people don't have 91 over a Live Series, and then they get another boost if they've got Castillo on. But we did do a video talking about how to build the best team, more specifically about those cornerstone captains, because I don't think Castillo's the best. I think somebody is a little bit better. But if you guys did enjoy this video, leave a like down below, and thank you for watching.